Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Aquarian Mind podcast. Today's podcast, episode number 26. I'm your host, Jamel Crothers. It's Motivation Wednesday. We're up to the letter G. Today, we're going to talk about grind. We have to grind every day. And it's not necessarily saying that we have to, go all out and, spend 5 hours, a day doing work. It can be the small, simplest grind of just doing research or reading or thinking or brainstorming or anything that, you may want to do. So a good definition of grind, which I did find, is to perform repetitive actions over and over again in order to attain a goal. So remember, you always have to make sure that you're making sure that you're getting to your goal, right? That's what I want you all to understand when it comes to getting to where you want to be. Now, the grind has to be consistent. That's the biggest part of it. You can't just, shortcut yourself or take off like 2 weeks and then decide you're going to do work like the third week, So I would say at least 5 days a week, to do something where you're working towards your goal. Whether it's an hour a day, 2 hours, half an hour, whatever it is. All I'm saying is you really just need to do something that will get you closer to your end goal, whatever that end goal is. I always talk about the end goal of what you're trying to do. Now, grinding doesn't mean, like I said, you're working like crazy long hours or whatever the case is. Now, if you have the time to do it, then knock yourself out. But, a lot of us have full-time jobs and we have 1 to 2 hours Monday through Friday, but then Saturday, Sunday, we probably have 3 or 4 hours, to, do something that will get you to where you need to be. Now, grinding, like I said, it can be a plethora of different things, thinking, processing things, mentally focusing on whatever you need to do. It can be writing down what needs to be done, and that's something that I try to do weekly. I try to write down like things I want to do, things that I want to get done. Now, do I complete all of them all the time? No. But, all I will say is that, when you really step up to the plate and you know that you're motivated and you're inspired to really get to where you need to be, you're going to grind. You're going to do what you need to do. So, the reality of it is that, the grind every day for me is different, and it varies from day to day. And I will tell you guys that, when you grind, for a long time and you're constantly, consistently like going to bat and, swinging for the fences, it's gonna take longer if you're swinging for the fences all the time. So sometimes you gotta, go for the single or the double and get on base, and then the next man is up, and you gotta just keep chugging away. Don't mind me, I like to utilize analogies when it comes to life, because a lot of them correlate to what I'm doing, and it may correlate to what you're doing. Grinding every day, it can be the smallest things. And to be brutally honest, sometimes I could just be sitting around and an idea comes to me and I go, okay, yeah, I need to do that. Or, okay, let me write that down. Or let me put that in my notes in my phone and come back to that later. So whatever it is, if you're an entrepreneur and you've started a clothing line, it could be an idea for a shirt or a hoodie or a crew neck or whatever it is, or a long sleeve shirt. You just never know. If you're, working on building a business, an online business, and you want to have classes, just thinking about building, your class and building your platform and your brand and, how you want to do those things. So, just know that when you hear the word grind, it doesn't mean like go all out, like 6-7 hours every single day, like a crazy person. Just remember, you need to, balance out your life, get rest, go out, exercise, do whatever you need to do. Some days, I, go to the gym and work out before I come behind the microphone and record these podcasts. Some days I'm going to record the podcast, and then after that, I'm going to, decompress and go to the gym, or I'm going to go ride my bike, or I'm going to go for a run, or I'm going to just relax and listen to, some music or whatever the case is. So, balance out your life, do what you need to do to get yourself to, where you need to be. But just know that you can't always duck your head and always be grinding and going at it every single day, all the time. I used to be that way. I would say probably the first 3 years of, me doing all things that I've been doing. I, have been doing a lot and just going nuts and, doing all these things. But in hindsight, it was draining me, and it wasn't necessarily just draining me physically, but it was draining me mentally, and emotionally and spiritually. So, those 4 things are imperative into everything that you're gonna do. I'll kind of delve into something real quick. I watch this podcast / show called I Am Athlete. And it's on YouTube. It's, a great platform to, for me, honestly, because it's former NFL players, but, they're not sitting on there talking about how much money they have. They're sitting there talking about investments. They're talking about life. They're talking about marriage. They're talking about struggles. They're talking about, their fellow athletes, whatever the case is. But what I, love and appreciate now is the main host, Brandon Marshall, who's a former wide receiver in the NFL, who's, played for a couple of teams in his career, the Jets, the Dolphins, the Bears, and the Broncos. He played in the NFL for 13 years, I think, something to that effect. But point is that his other, people that, other, people he has on the show, which is Fred Taylor, former running back for the Jacksonville Jaguars, New England Patriots, Channing Crowder, former linebacker for the Miami Dolphins, who also played with Brandon for a few years when they were in Miami, and Chad Johnson, a.k.a. Ocho Cinco, big-time receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals way back when. He also played for the Patriots also. But what I will say is that Brandon, a lot of shows, he likes to, delve deep into, having discussions, with his friends about where they are mentally, spiritually, emotionally, things of that nature. So he always kind of tells them, give him what the breakdown is on a scale of 1 to 10. And, and if, they're at a low level in some aspect of their lives, why is it that they are that way? And how are they getting themselves to a higher level to where they feel, better within themselves? And it's a wonderful thing. So, these are guys that are retired and they're grinding every day, and they're, going through the daily lives of maintaining and take care of their families and business and this and that and decisions and other family members. So what I'm trying to say is that even though you're grinding every day, just make sure that you're good mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and psychologically. Like, just make sure that there's a balance in everything. So for me, I'll be transparent with you. Lately I haven't been my best mentally, so no, I'm not going to sit and write books, but I'm going to come behind the microphone and I feel better on a podcast than I'm going to feel with writing a book. Emotionally, I'm in good spirits, because I get to exercise every day. Well, now I have a bike, so now I get to go out and ride this trail that I have that's, by my apartment, and I can ride for miles and it doesn't bother me. I have my music on and I'm just riding and I'm enjoying the sun, the views of the mountains, things of that nature, right? So that's good. That helps me with my spirits and things like that. So that will allow me to get to where I need to be. So what I will say is that the grind it's worth it when you're thinking about the longevity of it. If you're looking for the results right away, you're just not going to get them the way you want. And when you're an entrepreneur or you're striving for something, whether it's getting a degree or whatever the case is, just know that everything's a process. Enjoy it. There's going to be good, bad, and indifferent moments. And I want you guys to stay motivated and inspired. But in the midst of that, I don't want to sit here and come on here every Wednesday and do the rah, pump you up. Yeah, I'm going to pump you up, and I'm going to be transparent about what's going on with me in my life. And I'm going to share some experiences and things of that nature. But I also want to make sure that I'm being, really like honest with you guys and telling you guys the mistakes that I've made, and knowing like when to go like full-fledged, knowing when to like go 80, 90 miles an hour, and knowing when you get off that highway and you get onto the main roads that you got to slow down and do 30 to 40. So with that said, that's my podcast for today. Stay tuned. Friday's Book Insight, and I will have some really good content for the podcast coming up on Friday. So I want you guys to enjoy the rest of your week and to go accomplish your goals. So be good, everyone, and go accomplish your goals.